Gaza slaughter bores millions to death as Netanyahu starts Israeli election with a bang. Former General Penetratus, head of the CIA, sacked for shagging the wrong woman after FBI penis fest. Pointless riots and unrest across Europe and fascist fiscal policy of a few wealthy bankers. In the UK, prominent Masons and public figures abused by children begging for anal sex. Hello, Gilded Cage viewers. Welcome to the fucking news. I'm vomiting in a sick bag. Here are the headlines tonight. Millions of people around the world are totally and completely disinterested in the Israeli-Palestine conflict, and many more simply couldn't give a fuck. Even though it fills our screens and dominates our news media, global mainstream media has done its best to present Israel as a tolerant, liberal Western democracy under siege by the merciless onslaught of Hamas attacks emanating from Gaza. But even this gross distortion of facts has failed to stir any interest in the plight of dead women and babies, not a bit. Rockets, bombs, bullets, and soon, no doubt, tanks and soldiers from Israel will continue to kill innocent men, women, and children, while the rest of the world pumps gas, gulps down a Coke, chomps on a burger, scratches its ass, and shits out waste from a consumer lifestyle that's destroying the planet and laying waste to billions of lives in our own biosphere. Meanwhile, the glory of our existence, the birthright of consciousness on Earth, will be turned into a suicidal shopping experience designed by very, very, very rich people to make them even richer, while we live in fear of terror, inflation, recession, depression, stagnation, taxation, or any number of other shuns stabbed into our consciousness by a media machine owned and controlled by the same very, very, very rich people. Here's our special report. Gaza, Israel, Hamas, the West Bank, Golan Heights, Egypt, Arab, Jews, the Muslim Brotherhood, Zionists, Iran, Syria, border disputes, incursions, rocket attacks, precision strikes, strategic assassinations. These are just some of the words and phrases that people don't give a fuck about. I tell you, Man United get more supporters to an away game than news programs have viewers at prime time. Those of you kidding yourself that the world is watching, listening, remotely interested, or gives a flying fuck either way are just as deluded as the religious mumbo-jumbo protagonists on each side of this intractable conflict. Honestly, almost no one on Earth, when compared to our human population of 7 billion, almost no one could give a fuck. People who say they give a fuck because they created a Facebook page or watched a YouTube video about Zionism are just as mealy-mouthed and irrelevant as professional newsreaders who spit out the lexicon of lies, death and injustice on a daily basis. 1,000 people are thought to have died in a series of airstrikes by Israel on Gaza. Here's Barry with the sport. You see, the world doesn't stop turning, words have little weight, and sentiment is not action. If you say you give a fuck, step away from your computer monitor, hitch a lift to Gaza or Israel, arm yourself with your favourite means of resistance, and put your life on the line. Don't hang about the internet insulting each other. I will pay good money to see all of you pro-fascist mumbo-jumbo Israel Jewland supporters face off against every one of the nationalist Muslim mumbly-jumbly alibi-praised fuckwits of the desert. Face off in a no-holes-barred, once-in-a-lifetime deathmatch TV spectacular. Oh yeah! Come on, let's have a definitive bloodbath. Stop dragging it out. Maybe once all of you people are dead, the rest of us can focus on something relatively important. Like global slavery, fascist corporate ownership of Earth, the poisoning of our air, sea, food, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Come on, kill each other and hurry up about it. We don't give a fuck and we're tired of having to watch you picking at the scab. Come on. Thanks, and there will be sadly much, much more on that story for some time to come. In America, the CIA has opened an investigation into the conduct of its former director, David Penetratus' penis. A CIA spokesman said the inquiry by the agency's Penis Inspectorate General would see if there's any lessons to be learned about penises. Paula Broadwell, 40, was found to have seen and touched classified genitalia, but both she and General Penetratus deny it threatened national security. The CIA said in a statement on Thursday, "We are constantly reviewing penis activity of American citizens and public servants. If there are lessons to be learned from this case, we will use them to improve penis and vagina investigation. In his first interview since resigning, General Penetratus didn't tell CNN on Thursday that he and Paula Broadwell had fucked like bunny rabbits. But he had not given classified cunnilingus to his former lover. For viewers who are unsure of the players in this unfolding American sex scandal, here's our Who's Shagging, Texting, Leching After Who guide. David Penetratus, a retired four-star general and the most prominent US penis of the post-9/11 years, eclipsing Bill Clinton's penis. Formerly the top genitalia in Iraq and Afghanistan, General Penetratus retired from the military in 2011 to play with his penis at the CIA. Paula Broadwell, a married mother of two and a cock-loving biographer of General Penetratus. The former military intelligence vagina and graduate of West Point was granted exceptional access to the general's penis during his tenure in Afghanistan. Jill Kelly, a married Florida socialite with tits like artillery shells. She reported to the FBI that General Penetratus' penis didn't want her vagina, but somebody else did. Her complaint led to the discovery of General Penetratus' penis and Paula Broadwell's vagina. John Allen, top US sex pest in Afghanistan, the Marine General was found to have fantasized extensively about Mrs. Kelly, though he denies getting any action at all. Doing anything wrong. Meanwhile, intelligence officials continued on Thursday to defend their handling of the investigation into General Penetratus' penis, saying the agency was right not to have mentioned any of this during the election because penises were not on the ballot. At the press conference in New Orleans, U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder was asked why the Justice Department did not inform the White House or lawmakers earlier about the penis investigation. He said, "As we went through the investigation and looked at penises and tried to examine its development, we felt very secure in the knowledge that a national vagina threat did not exist." Hello, welcome to Doomberg. The Eurozone debt crisis continues as millions of workers in Europe squeal and wail and squirm as the realization hits them that they are impotent, powerless gimps in an economic tyranny stretching from the Volga to the Atlantic. The protesters held a day of action against austerity measures in Spain, Italy, Greece and Portugal. All the protests were accompanied by brutal police action and violence, in order to protect the economic tyranny of the few banking families that own Europe and all the people in it like bitches in a dog pound. Countries such as Greece that have already been bailed out by the international lenders, that should have read, countries such as Greece that are already overtly and publicly without doubt run and owned by banks, continue to see their economies shrink as the bankers go house to house, literally house to house, installing a tax on electricity in order to steal money from the entire population to pay themselves back for making suicidal loans that could never be repaid. You can see how that works there. Allowing them to step in and take over what was once a sovereign nation. Nice. Meanwhile, larger economies such as Spain have imposed spending cuts in an attempt to avoid having to ask for bailouts and succumbing to the same fiscal rape and slavery. The austerity measures in many countries, mostly in southern Europe, have combined tax rises with cuts in salaries, pensions, benefits and social services, as well as rises in profits for corporations who'll be taking over public services and running them as cash cows, milking the people dry, sucking at the sweet teat of free taxpayers' money. Sucking you dry, till the whole of Europe is one big teat, squirting citizens' lifeblood and incomes directly into the mouths of trough-snorting, pig-faced bankercrats who lent corrupt officials money they knew couldn't be paid back so they could force the people of Europe to be their fleshy money sacks. Bent over a barrel of austerity measures, fucked in the assets by a giant dick of profit by people who already own everything. Haha, let's have a look at the markets. You are fucked. See you next time on Doomberg. In the UK, in the wake of the Jimmy Savile abuse scandal, many public figures, top Tories, judges, police officers, lawyers and social workers have come forward claiming they have been victims of abuse. The prominent Masons and members of government and high office holders from many public bodies allege that teenagers and children, some as young as 6 and 8, have been sexually stimulating them for years. Lots of people who went to Eton and Oxford but cannot be named for Masonic reasons told FKN Newz, Young boys have been giving me a stiffy for decades. Ever since my housemaster made me suck his cock and buggered me with muffin fat in the chapel, I have been aroused by young boys. Scoutmasters and Catholic priests have made statements to the police saying that young people's buttocks made them so stiff they had to ply children with drugs and alcohol until they could rape them and bully them into silence. Most worryingly, it seems members of the Masons were targeted for years by groups of teenagers, girls and boys, who forced Masons to gang rape them in the basements of their weird secretive buildings in nearly every town and city in Britain. "We had no choice," said one Mason. "They made us horny, so we had to take them into our macabre basements where we keep the goats. Meh. We had to use our influence with the police and judiciary to cover up our abuse. For years and years, children from care homes, hospitals, boarding schools taunted us with their vulnerability and lack of protection. Sometimes they made us so sexually sadistic and lustfully out of control, we had to kill them and blame it on a house fire or a boating accident or something. Please, 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 I hope no one will believe this. Sexy little children want us to bugger and rape them. They want us to subject them to horrific abuse and sexual exploitation for our own gratification. When will this nightmare end?" Children around the country have denied the charges, claiming they don't want anything to do with fat, sweaty old Masons or pathetic Scoutmaster pedos or Catholic perverts, or indeed top Tory peers, judges, foreign diplomats, etc. Children, they said, have nothing to do with the abuse of what is in large part a bunch of middle-aged men with dick for brains and the power to cover up hideous crimes, thanks to the support of other lying, powerful scumbags, Masons, in positions of influence and trust. The government has called for a thorough investigation to be carried out for many, many, many years and to report its findings in very, very small print on the back of a milk bottle one day.